So hello and welcome to the video. Now a couple of weeks back I made a video talking about the 2 upgrade vouchers that are available through credit cards which give you benefits on British Airways. There is a 3rd voucher available in the UK which gives you benefits with Virgin Atlantic. And my original plan was to talk about that alongside the other 2 in that earlier video. But that would have ended up being a really long video, and as Virgin Atlantic's significance in the UK is increasing, particularly with them joining the SkyTeam alliance, I've decided to split a discussion about that Virgin voucher into a separate video, and this is that video. I have the card, I've earned a voucher, and I have very recently used it to make a booking, so I am able to talk about the full life cycle of these vouchers. So if that sounds good, stick around! Hi, I'm Matt and this is Matt's Planet. I aim to entertain, educate and inspire with my travel adventures from planning to execution. I'll show you how you can travel in style for a lot less than you'd think. So subscribe so you can come with me. So this Virgin Atlantic branded card is perhaps unsurprisingly issued by Virgin Money. Now I need to start with my usual disclaimer on this type of video, which is that this is not advice. Credit cards are regulated products and I am not qualified to give advice on this card or on any other credit card. What follows is just the crazed musings of an aviation enthusiast created for entertainment purposes only. I also have no idea what is required to qualify for one of these cards, although the Virgin Money website does give you a few clues. So as seems to be standard for these types of cards, there are 2 versions of it. The Virgin Atlantic Rewards credit card and the Virgin Atlantic Rewards Plus credit card. And whilst the cards look quite similar, there are some key differences. No annual fee, a £160 a year annual fee, 3/4 of a point earned per pound spent, doubled for spending on Virgin Atlantic and Virgin Holidays, 1.5 points per pound spent, doubled again for Virgin Atlantic and Virgin Holidays. A voucher is earned after spending £20,000, after earning £10,000. And I'll quickly say, not advice, but for a card with no annual fee, that's not a bad deal. And I'll also add that neither of these cards charge you a foreign exchange fee on purchases made in the Eurozone, Sweden or Romania. And that's quite unusual these days and does make these cards quite interesting if you happen to travel to those places and spend a bit of money there. Now the first real world insight I can add from having had these cards myself is that it is really difficult to see your progress against those spending goals. Neither the app, the website, nor the credit card statements themselves give you a running total. So you should probably do what I do, which is keep your own offline record. It's also not that easy to see when your collection year ends either, which also doesn't help. If you have multiple rewards cards on the go and you're trying to balance your spending to maximise the value of the vouchers that you generate, Virgin really doesn't make it easy for you to do so. Barclays and Amex both have very clear and transparent summaries of how your spending is going, so you can time that spending perfectly. Not a reason to not get this card, but something to be aware of if you're going to be keeping your own records from day one. A couple of points about earning points. When I first got the Plus version of this card, I was given a £1,200 credit limit, and from what I've read online, that's not unusual. There's a bit of small print that says you can only earn points up to your credit limit each month. You can't spend, pay down the balance mid-month and then spend your credit limit again and double up the points that you're earning. Now that's fair enough, but I've never been able to work out whether if you did that, you would be able to contribute more to your spending target than your credit limit in a month. Looking back, it would have been very easy to call them to ask, but I actually assumed that you couldn't. So rightly or wrongly, I assumed that I had £14,400 worth of spending available to me on that card in a year, which meant that getting £10,000 through was actually quite tricky. I needed to spend an average of 70% of my credit limit each of those 12 months to make sure that I got the 10 grand through in a year. I was able to double my credit limit after a year of operating the account and showing that I was paying off my balances, and you may well get a higher credit limit from the get-go, but it is something to be aware of. So to the vouchers, and the first point is that the vouchers are the same regardless of which version of the card you have. That's also the case with Barclays, but the Amex vouchers are subtly different depending on which of the Amex cards you have. Again, Virgin's IT doesn't make it easy for you to see the voucher, to see when you've got it or to see when it expires. It does show up as a line item in your activity statement, but if you want to know anything about it, again you have to call Virgin. When issued, the voucher has a 2-year life, so again it's wise to try and trigger it as late in your membership year as possible so it lasts for as long as possible. And you need to take the first flight of a booking within that 2-year life, even if a return flight takes place after the voucher has expired. So you can use the voucher in one of 3 ways, and annoyingly all 3 of them require you to call Virgin to use it. And that is a little bit annoying, and it's yet another way where Virgin's IT really isn't that good. So the first way is to use it as a companion voucher, and let me start the small print counter. You can usually take a companion on a return trip you've bought for free. So one of those bits of small print is actually a benefit of the Virgin scheme, which is the word bought. Virgin allows you to apply a companion voucher to a ticket that has been bought with either cash or with points. The BA scheme always requires a companion voucher to be used as part of a redemption booking. As reward availability is limited, this should increase your ability to use your Virgin voucher, because you only need 1 reward seat to be available to take a companion, because you're then able to buy the second seat. On BA, you'd need 2 reward seats to be available to put the transaction through. Although, of course, buying that second upper class seat can be quite expensive. But with Virgin, if 2 reward seats are available, you can redeem points for 1 seat and then use the companion voucher to get the second one. Another quick difference is that Virgin will actually give you tier points for flying on a reward seat. BA doesn't. Indeed, I can't think of another airline that actually allows you to earn status points when travelling on a redemption. The usually qualifier is that the status you hold in Virgin's flying club can be significant. Another way that their scheme is different from BA. Anyone can use a voucher to get a companion into their economy or premium economy cabins, which they just call premium. Only silver or gold status holders in the flying club can use a companion voucher to get their partner for free into the upper class cabin. If you hold the entry-level red status in the flying club, you will be asked to pay 50% of the points cost of that companion seat, which, if you are the lowest status holder on Virgin, makes this a 2 for 1.5 voucher rather than a 2 for 1. And the last qualifier is free. Now, Virgin follows the herd by making you still pay the taxes and fees applicable to a redemption booking, which on a Virgin flight can be really hefty, as, unlike BA, Virgin still lumps a massive chunk of their revenue into the taxes and fees section of a booking in the hope that you won't notice. This is the itinerary I've actually used my voucher for, and you can see that if I'd bought this ticket, there would have been £900 of revenue to Virgin hidden in taxes and fees. I don't praise BA often, but they have moved away from doing this, largely, and that is actually an excellent development that I hope Virgin will follow. So that's the first option, and it can be really, really valuable if used well. So the second way to use the voucher is to upgrade 2 flights. So a single traveller can upgrade a return itinerary, a couple travelling can upgrade their flights one way. I use my voucher to upgrade from premium to upper class on a return trip to New York. You need to buy or have bought a ticket in economy or premium, and then by applying the voucher you move forward 1 cabin. Most people will want to go from premium to upper class, and I believe there is a little bit of small print that says you can't upgrade an economy light ticket, which is the cheapest category of economy seat that Virgin sells. A few qualifications, of course, some of which will be familiar. Firstly, status has no bearing here. You can apply this voucher regardless of the status that you hold with Virgin. And again, you can upgrade a ticket bought with points or with cash, and you need reward availability in the cabin you're upgrading to. So if you redeem points for a seat in premium on a Monday, you'd need a seat available for redemption in premium on the Monday. If then on the Friday you decided to upgrade your booking, you would then need another seat to be available in the upper class cabin to put through the upgrade. If you redeem for a premium seat and upgrade to upper class at the same time, you only need the reward seats to be available in the upper class cabin. You've skipped through the premium cabin and don't need to see an empty reward seat there to put the transaction through. And again, you still need to pay the taxes applicable to the upper class seat, which for me was £996. And as we've seen, Virgin has whacked £900 of their revenues into the taxes and fees section. Now I can see that there's about £300 of proper taxes and fees in this fare, which means I'm still paying Virgin £700 for this free ticket. I did though get a bit lucky when booking, as there is a 20% sale on redemptions running at the time, which means it only cost me 28,000 points for that notional premium seat that I upgraded through. So as a point is worth about 1p, a return trip in upper class has cost me about £1,275, which is still, I think, a pretty good deal. Without that discount being enforced, it would have cost me about £1,350. And the third option, and I'd be fascinated to see how many people take this, is to trade in your voucher for an access ticket to one of Virgin's clubhouses. Now status matters here again. You get one person in if you're silver, which is yourself, and you can take two people in if you're gold, which is yourself and a guest. You can't take this option if you're a basic red member. Not that I think anyone should take this option, as it's clearly the least valuable of the three. But I suppose if you're getting close to a voucher expiring and you haven't used it, it is a way of cranking some value out of that voucher before it expires unused. So as I said, I've used my voucher for an upgrade and got about £1,000 in value for it. I paid about £12.75 for a flight that's retailing at £2,200. It still cost me close to £1,000 in cash, but overall I'm pretty happy with the booking. And once I'd verified that seats were available on the flights I wanted, it was a very quick and smooth process to call the Virgin call centre to put the booking through. Now the agents are very experienced at doing this, and I reckon the call took less than 5 minutes from start to finish. So that's how you earn a voucher, it's how you use a voucher, and how I have used my first voucher. Now I've had the card for 2 years, so what am I planning to do with my second voucher? Well, dear viewer, I didn't spend enough money on my card to earn a second voucher, and I won't be earning a third voucher because I've cancelled the card. So what's going on? So in my second year of holding that card, I had 3 voucher earning credit cards, so I needed to get £30,000 worth of spending through them to trigger all 3 vouchers. And after lengthy consideration, I ranked the Virgin voucher as being the least valuable of the 3. And once I'd made that decision, I streamed my spending through those other 2 cards as a priority and fell about £2,000 or £3,000 short of being able to trigger the Virgin voucher as well. And as I can't guarantee being able to spend £30,000 through credit cards again this year, I've cancelled the card, as I just can't justify spending £160 a year on a card that is only really going to be accelerating the earning of Virgin points for me. So there were 4 reasons why I ranked Virgins as being the least valuable to me. Firstly, Virgin has a far narrower route network than BA. Virgin is great for holiday destinations and has a very strong presence in the Caribbean, but BA just goes to more places that I want to visit. Plus the Amex voucher allows you to redeem on Iberia and Aer Lingus, which adds some more destinations to the mix. And that's actually why I ranked the Amex voucher as being the most valuable of the 3. And secondly, although you can upgrade a cash booking on Virgin, I prefer to upgrade reward tickets, as I'm pretty good at getting reward points. And I'm much better at getting BA Avios than I am at getting Virgin's reward points, and there are a lot more ways of getting BA Avios than there are of Virgin reward points. And thirdly, BA is cheaper. A redemption to New York on BA on the exact same dates as that Virgin redemption would have cost me £1,200, which is quite a lot less than the Virgin ticket cost. But a far higher proportion of that BA cost was Avios, and although we tend to value an Avio at 1p, this video showed that I earned nearly 300,000 of them last year at an average cost of 0.22 of a p. So if you apply that valuation to those Avios, that BA redemption would only cost me £540, which is a bit more than a third of the Virgin redemption. Plus it's almost half of the actual cash that you still need to pay Virgin. Now a fourth reason was that some of the value of the Virgin voucher is tied up in having status with Virgin. I only have status with Virgin now, as I matched across to their programme a couple of years ago. I matched as gold, I've cascaded to silver, and in February I will actually drop back to their red tier. It's very unlikely that I will fly enough with Virgin or their SkyTeam partners to get me back up to silver, let alone up to gold. Now I would probably use vouchers to upgrade solo trips, in which case status doesn't actually matter. But if I ever did want to redeem for a companion voucher, I would be really quite annoyed if my lack of status ended up making that voucher much less valuable than I perhaps expected it to be. One great reason though for sticking with Virgin is the Virgin experience. Many people will argue that Virgin offers a better ground and in-flight experience than BA. Indeed, some people will argue that quite vociferously. Now, it may be an age thing, but I'm not convinced that Virgin is actually miles ahead of BA in those regards. I am very much looking forward to taking that flight and reviewing their offering again, and I have booked on one of their newest A330 planes for one of those flights. And I have to say, I'm quite surprised about how excited I've allowed myself to get about flying on Virgin. And if I do fly with them, and I do love it, I always have the option to get the card back. Virgin is a little unusual in only having a 6-month exclusion period before you can reapply for their card. So if I conclude that I have made a mistake, towards the end of the year I can reapply for the card, which means I'll be able to get another welcome bonus and I'll be able to start the process all over again. So there you go, the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. I'm sure if you're still watching you know the drill pretty well by now. And if you'd like to support what I'm doing, Patreon account, again, you know that drill too. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.